Quickly before this video starts, I forgot to put in my finish. I did have a finish, it was the mouse, and I used it for my backstitch video. If you want to see a better close-up of it, just go take a look at the backstitch video, but I forgot because I've already posted it out to the recipient that I was doing it for. I am really sorry that I forgot to put it in this video. I don't know why I forgot, but I will add in a clip of the mouse with his backstitch on from the backstitch video and a picture here. But yeah, I am really sorry. So hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you all had a really good Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you got up to something fun. First of all, before I show you my cross stitches that I've got up to since I've been away, it's only been a week since I last uploaded, but I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I was completely blown away by the whip parade, the amount of views and the extra subscribers that I got. I think overall I got about 130 new people to the channel, which is amazing. So thank you very much if you're new, and if you've been here since the start or the middle or wherever, thank you very much for continuing to watch. So I got an awful lot of stitching done, but I've also got 3 new things that I want to show you. So if you've been here before, do you remember that I said that when I was doing my 2024 plans, I said that I wasn't going to start anything new. Well, I was aiming to not start anything new until May for my birthday. I was going to have a new start in May, and then I was going to have a new start at Christmas time 2024. Well, I obviously lied. And I have 2 new projects that I want to start, and one that I have already spoken about, which is the Tomb Raider cross-stitch pattern that I designed. The artwork is by somebody else. I asked if I could do it for personal use, and they said yes. So I've started to collect a few bits for that. Actually no, I'm still telling a lie, because there is 3 new starts plus that Tomb Raider one. So first of all, what I want to talk about is the Heaven and Earth SAL. A lot of you might already know about it, but Heaven and Earth have decided to do a SAL this year for the first time in years. I think they did one a long time ago, before I was even cross-stitching. So I've been seeing on Facebook people were talking about the old one. And they're doing one it starts on the 1st of January. So you'll see it in the next Flosstube. I've already bought all the stuff. I am Team Cat. You had 10 charts, I believe, to pick from. And I went with the cat. It's Astrology Cat. I'll put a picture here somewhere. It is a cropped image of the original chart, because they all have to be the same size. And they're all 90 colours. So I've got all of my colours here, all ready to go. They look absolutely beautiful. Obviously I use the thread organisers like always. And I am going to be, look at that yellow and that blue. I'm going to be doing mine on 28 count. The reason for that is I had some fabric already that I found, and I've cut it into 2 so I can use it for 2 different charts. So that is one new start. As soon as the pattern comes out, I'm going to start it. If you finish 4 pages by the end of the year, so it starts on the 1st of January, ends on the 31st of 2024. If you finish 4 pages, you get access to all 10 charts. So you had a possibility of 10 charts to pick from to start the sale, and if you get if you get 4 pages done by the end of the year, you get all 10 for free. If you finish the entire chart by the end of the year, you get an extra 2 patterns of your choice from the shop. I'm not too worried about finishing. I just wanted to do something to to be part of like a community or part of something. I've never done a stitch with me before, a stitch along, sorry, a sal before, so I thought it would be a good opportunity, seeing as it's Heaven and Earth Designs and I love full coverage. The second thing I bought, I'm going to have to put a picture up because I tried to print out the pattern and my printer needs ink. Sorry for the zip. But it is the Dark Queen of the Sea sal, or Dark Queen of the Sal, something along them lines. And it's going to be a really big challenge for me. So I bought this Christmas Day or Christmas night. I bought the pattern just because I've loved it for so long. It was out about 3 years ago now, I think. It came out as a stitch along originally, and now you're able to purchase the actual thing by itself, all completed. And I have loved it for years, but I've always been intimidated by this pattern because, one, it's not full coverage, two, it has beads, it has a lot of back stitch, which isn't just 310 back stitch, it's Petite Treasure Braids back stitch, and that to me looks like it's like stitching with wire. But the picture and the chart is so beautiful. I've seen it finished about 3 or 4 times now by different people on Flosstube, and I've always loved it. But there is alternate versions as well. So I bought it from their website, but they also have an Etsy shop. On their Etsy shop you can buy pack variations. You can buy... this is the only piece of paper that my printer managed to actually print out. The rest of it came out wrong. But it says, during the stitch along we had some choose your own adventure sections that had alternate versions to make the Dark Queen more personalised, and they included a whole new face, 10 different hair colour options, a version with her chest bare so she doesn't have the top there, a skull instead of magic that she's holding in her hand, which aren't included in this booklet that I've got, but if you want to order them separately you can go to Etsy and order them. I'm just going to do it how it was originally intended because I really like it, and that's the chart that I keep seeing. Christmas Day I bought everything for it. I was up quite late actually, Christmas night, just messing about, looking at the Mill Hill beads and all of that, getting really confused, finding the right fabric. The fabric that they recommended that was specifically made for that sal wasn't available, so I had to find my own. And it took me a long time, but I've got everything. I'm waiting for the stuff. The only thing that has turned up so far is... let me see if I can get them out of here. It's just some tiny little beads, and I only needed one, which I couldn't find the original. It was a Swarovski pendant thing, and I found it, but they wanted about £10 for this one bead, so I didn't buy it. I had to buy 3, but I only need 1 of these. They are really pretty, but this is something that I've never worked with before. I've never used beads, I've never used Petite Treasure Braids, I've never done this amount of backstitch. I can't upload the pattern to Pattern Keeper, so I'm going to have to do it off paper, which means I need 2 copies because I need 1 to mark over and then 1 to do the backstitch on. It's going to be a challenge for me, but I think 2024 seems to be the year of challenges, because I also, talking about another start, decided to buy some variegated floss that I fell in love with, and have decided to do my Ragnarok long dog sampler with it. I'll show you the Ragnarok picture. But I was looking on Etsy, I don't know if it was the same day that I was looking for all of that stuff that I came across this, but I decided to pick up some variegated floss. Look how beautiful that is. It's pinks, purples and blues. And it's not just strands, like 6 strands together where there's 3, like they're not solid colours. The thread changes as it goes, which is what I wanted. That's actual variegated floss. Because a lot of them that I see are marked as variegated floss, but they're just different colours of floss in with one skein, if that makes sense. So this is beautiful, and I have decided to do my long dog sampler in this on 28 count because I'm using the rest of the fabric that was cut from the Astrology Cat sale. This floss is by a lady called Natalie Stewart. I will link her down below. She sells fabric as well. I wish I had looked at that before I ordered the fabric for the Dark Queen, because she had some that looked really nice that I could have used for that. I have actually gone, now because I ordered one to start with, one floss or one skein, just to see if it would look nice against the white. So I did like a floss toss. A floss toss, if you don't know, is where you lay your floss on top of your fabric to see if it looks right. So I did that, and I am really happy with this against white fabric. So I went and ordered more. So when all of the floss turns up, that I will be starting the long dog sampler. That's also going to be a challenge for me because I'm predominantly a full coverage person. So I'm doing a giant sampler this year and I'm doing the Dark Queen, which is something that I never thought I would do. I always looked at it, as I said, but never thought I would do it. So that's the 3 new starts, and I will start them as soon as everything gets here. So you'll see Astrology Cat next week because the chart comes out this week. And then once all the bits and pieces are together for the other ones, I will start them. So Tomb Raider, at the minute I have the fabric, I have not all of the floss because it needs 160. So I just want to show you the fabric first. I'm going to be doing this on 25 counts, but it's not the typical fabric that I usually use. So I usually use that easy count, was it Lugana, I think. But I am using this one. Now I've never used this before. This fabric is really stiff. The grids are different. It's like I wouldn't say they're red actually. They're because in my stitch with me I said they were red, but they're like a beige colour. But it's really stiff fabric. Anyway, let's look at this. It says it is, pardon me, it doesn't say what it is. It just says Luca S, 25 count, no idea. But the reason I bought this is because I couldn't find the stuff that I usually use, the easy count fabric, in the size that I wanted in 25 count. I would have had to have gone up to 28 count, and I don't want to. I really don't want to do Tomb Raider in 28 count. I probably could have gone down and ordered a bigger size fabric maybe. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to start it on that fabric, and if I don't like it, then I will assess. We will assess. So at the minute, I've just got bits and pieces of floss. Not much at all. I'd say 20, 25, probably the max. And I need 160. The Tomb Raider chart is going to be about 650 stitches wide, so it's going to be a huge, huge project. Most of these came from floss that I already had, because I actually, let me move you. You see behind me here, these boxes up there are actually all of my floss. So I finally organised it. If you watched my Christmas vlog, you would have seen me talk about it. It was all, my spares used to be bobbinated flosses, like on bobbins, but I've since put them in these boxes in envelopes, and I ordered this shelf and put it together yesterday actually. So now all of my projects sit there. This shelf here is where my projects go, but as you see it's pretty empty because I stitched on a lot this week, so they're all here ready for me to show you. But Yeah, I'm really happy with the shelf. It helps me find floss in my stash as well, being in them boxes, so I'm really happy with that. I will need to move this diamond painting out of the way because it's blocking it, so you can't see it anymore. But speaking of diamond paintings, I've finished my huge diamond painting, so I'll put a clip in here. So that diamond painting was done for an event that we had on one of our Facebook groups called Stash Busters. The event ran from November, was it November? Yeah, November to the 1st of January. You had that time limit to finish it. I chose a huge one to give me the motivation to finish it because I knew it would just be sitting in my stash for ages if I didn't. And I actually got it done just in time. That took me 2 months to do that picture. It's huge. It's now on the wall upstairs, and I'm really happy with it. So the last thing to talk about before we get into the projects that I've done this week is my daughter's artwork. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support. Everybody commented, giving her support for her artwork. And I actually wanted to show you that I actually have a tattoo of her artwork, so I'll show you. It's on my back, but with everyone's support and everything from the picture there, I thought I'd show you because you're never going to see it any other time. I don't know if I can move around and show you. I hope you could see that. Probably not. Don't know if I can show you it, but it's a rose, and she actually designed it, and then I got it stitched for, like, I asked my tattoo artist, because I always go to the same person, if they could draw it up into a tattoo, which is what they done. So I've had that for 2 years now on my back. But yeah, thank you for the support. Sometimes she's very, I'm trying to think of the right word to say. Sometimes she doesn't think that she's a good artist when she is, and she doesn't have a lot of self-confidence in what she does. So it's nice to hear that other people really like her artwork. Obviously it is quite different, but it's nice to hear, and I do tell her when people compliment her artwork to make herself feel better. Right, let's get on to the projects. I am just going to pick them as they are up here because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that I've worked on since you last saw me. So we'll just go randomly. So the first one is Pokemon, and here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here is Pokemon now. So I've done a bit more to Starmie and whatever character is underneath him. I haven't looked to see who it is. I haven't got the percentage for this one, but I did 259 stitches on this one. And this is 18 count, 2 strands, full cross. I'm also not doing the background. Is the background what? So this isn't the Lord Libidon pattern that most people do on the Gen 1 Pokemon. This is by a seller on Etsy called Pixostitch, or Pixo, I think it's Pixostitch. It'll be linked in the description below. I didn't do the Lord Libidon one because I didn't like some of the colour choices, and I just prefer this pattern because they are placed in a different way than the one on the Lord Libidon one. But the Lord Libidon one is free if you want to take a look at it. There is actually a Facebook group for Pokemon stitchers, which I am in. I'm not on them often, but I am in it. So the next one is Dawn to Dusk. I did only work on this last night for about an hour. My tablet died and I wasn't ready to go to bed, so I grabbed this one. So here is what it looked like the last time you saw it. Here is what it looks like now. Not much is done. I literally just filled in some of the green and did, was it this side? Yeah, I did this side, bit of her cheek here. So I only did about 2 strands of floss last night. But she's coming along nicely. She is 11 count, 3 strands, full cross. And here is the full pattern. So I'm getting there. I say I'm getting there, I'm getting nowhere near. I don't know why I say that. Next up is Venom. Now I have decided, if you watch my 2024 plans, I've got a rough plan of what I want to do. I don't like giving myself too many rules when it comes to cross stitch, or too many goals. So the only thing that I've said I'm going to do this year is focus on one thing each month. Venom is supposed to be February's focus, and what that means is I'm just going to stitch on it about 3 times a week, every week of that month, instead of picking a different thing every night, or picking what I feel like stitching on. Along with Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings is probably the only thing that I keep a commitment to, and that is I try and stitch 200 stitches every single night. And I am still doing it. I have done really, really well since the last floss tube. I'll show you that probably next. But every single month of 2024 there'll be one focus of a cross stitch chart, and I will try, I'm aiming for about 3 nights a week of stitching solely on that one, plus the 200 stitches on Lord of the Rings, because I do the 200 stitches first every day. Whatever time I have left after that 200 stitches is what goes on everything else. So here's what Venom looked like last time. And here's what Venom looks like now. So I did, with this one, I like to work in 4 squares, which is about it is 400, it's not about, it is. It's 400 stitches every 4 squares. So I like to do 4 squares at a time. I did the 4, and then I went on to the black on the next set of 4. So I got 617 stitches done over the course of 2 days, and he is now at 17.23%. But what I was going to say about Venom is I actually want to try and say that this one will be done by the end of the year. And that's because this is actually a gift for my daughter. She loves Venom. She absolutely loves Venom, and I started this last April or March of 2023, and I haven't had much progress on it. So it's at 17.23%, and I really want to get this done for her as a Christmas present for 2024. So that's the only thing that I want to make sure that I finish this year is Venom, and that will just mean that, minus having him as a focus in February, I will make sure that I stitch more on him. I don't know if I'm going to get there, and if I don't get there, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but it just will help me work on this more, because I always put him away all the time. Like, I never seem to think about getting it out that often, so I really do want to finish him. And he's not completely full coverage either, so it shouldn't take too long. He is being stitched on 25 count, easy count, 2 strands, half cross. Alright, so next up we've got Lord of the Rings, just because that's next in my pile. So here is what Lord of the Rings looked like last time. And here is what Lord of the Rings looks like now. So he is, why do I always call my cross stitch patterns a he? It's looking really, really nice. Now I have changed the way that I stitched this from the last time that you saw it. Okay, so before, let me just get the part out that I'm talking about. So this part here and his face here have all been stitched. Oh, I just hit myself in the face. They've all been stitched 2 strands, half stitch, so half cross stitch or tent stitch, whatever you want to call it. And this is 28 count fabric, so from here to here it's been stitched 2 strands, half stitch. I have decided, when I came across the pattern and I saw, like, this bit here just looks like it's going to be one colour per line on this wall here. It's not. This page is massively confetti just for a brick wall. So I ended up going with 1 strand, half cross, and it actually doesn't look that bad. I was really, really nervous that the thickness, I have spoken about this before, that the thickness difference between switching from 2 strands to 1 strand might be too noticeable, because this is ridiculously thick. But it actually isn't that bad, and I'm so glad I've done it, because there's a lot of confetti in here, an awful lot, and it was really starting to hurt my hands getting the needle through the fabric. It's actually looking okay. So I have done, let me get my notes, 2,402 stitches on Lord of the Rings since you last saw it, and it is now at 3.56%. So I'd say, if I'm lucky, I'll finish this page before next floss tube. If I'm lucky, I might just be like down here somewhere. I tend to come down the page and I work page by page on this one. So that's looking lovely. This is my big project, the one that I do 200 stitches a night on, and surprisingly having it 200 stitches a night actually really, really helps this go really quickly, because I've got a lot to do. It's 999 stitches wide, and as I said, this is on 28 count, easy count, and now it's on 1 strand, half stitch. So for one night over the Christmas holidays, I decided to do Intrusive Thoughts. Here is what it looked like last time we saw it. And I didn't do much, but I did do a little. Here's what it looks like now. I did 169 stitches, and unfortunately I didn't write down my percentage before the tablet died. But she's coming along nicely. I'm trying to do the shape of her face, and every now and again doing a bit of the spider's eyes. But this was only worked on 1 day, so not much progress, but every little bit of progress is something, so I'm happy with that. Right, next is Poinsettia Pixie, and this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here's what it looks like now. So I am slowly getting to the top of the chart again. So I came around the hairline and then started to go back up again to where the flower is in her hair. So I'm stitching just the black on this one to start with, and then when the black is done I will go and order the colours for it. I do have a nice 310 cone of thread that I'm using on all of my projects at the minute. So I did 1,550 stitches, and that gives me a total percentage of 2.88%. So I'm going to try and get a little bit more done on her soon. But I do enjoy just stitching 310 sometimes. This is really nice to just, when you want something easy, just to grab, because it's, for now, I've got a lot of 310 to do because she's completely outlined in it. So yeah, happy with that. And then last but not least is my Christmas start for 2023, Prefects bathroom. So there's another lady that's already stitching this. Forgotten her name, Sarah Koshrain. I've mentioned her before in one of my other floss tubes. She's only stitching the black to start with, like I am with Poinsettia Pixie, and I'm doing everything, so I'm doing the colours as I go. So here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here's what it looks like now. Now I really love doing this one because of the greens. Green's my favourite colour. So I got 1,266 stitches done, and that gives me a total of 2.64%. But I'm doing a page as I go, like I usually do. This is on 25 count, easy count, and I am doing 2 strands, half stitch, like most of my projects. So yeah, it's looking really nice. I do really love that green in there, so nice. The flosses for this are beautiful. It's just like a selection of greens and blues. So that is everything. I am really happy with the progress that I made over the last about week or so. Especially during a really busy time like Christmas. I didn't think I'd get as much stitching done as I did. I didn't expect to start 3 projects, but here we are. If you want life updates and things like that, please check out my Stitch With Me's. I have decided to keep Flosstube for just Flosstube and do the Stitch With Me's for life updates, because if I do it here, I'm not going to have anything to talk about in the Stitch With Me's. And the only time that I'm going to be working on the Tomb Raider one once I start it is in the Stitch With Me's. I'm solely keeping that just for the Stitch With Me's. So that'll be a long-term project probably, unless we get fed up of stitching it. I have thought about doing live streams on Twitch and using that as well, but I'm not there yet. So that'll be something for the future, maybe middle of 2024. We'll see how everything goes. So yeah, if you want to listen to live updates and stuff like that, please keep an eye out for the Stitch With Me's. If you want to see other things, like you can always watch the whipping chats where I talk on the diamond painting stuff, all of that stuff. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching, and I will be back next week. Didn't say, January's focus is going to be Pokemon. So you'll see that a lot in January. As I said, I'm going to try and stitch 3 days a week on the focus. So it will be Pokemon for the whole of January, then we'll move on to Venom, but I am still going to work on Venom during January. Right, okay, bye.